How you feel about young M.A.? I don't like to call her young Ma.
Ain't it young M.A.?
I thought you could do it either way.
Oh, I thought it was young M.A.
And that's not a no pun intended.
I like her. I think she got bars.
I'm just waiting for her to turn up pregnant. Because that's always funny when a stud turn up pregnant. Because you can't comment on it. But they act like it ain't abnormal. You know what I'm saying? Oh, what you got something to say, nigga? Nah, you just glowing.
Slipping through the dial, had watched the news in a while. Turn on CNN, ain't see none of my friends. Swag gave me the blues, they never walked in my shoes. They want us living in fear, it ain't what I'm trying to hear. Switched it over to Fox, kept clicking, I barely stopped. New guests on NBC, no one that represent me. So I got tired of waiting, sit master debate. Give me some headlines, it must be past bedtime. Sleeping on me still like I ain't vitamin D for real. Rep your city, play devil's advocate. Wayne Brady gon' have to smack a bit. Tell me something good, a recipe for success. Give me some timeline, shop session and flight deck. Hey, P, what's next?
Welcome to Gimme Some Headlines. It's your boy, P. Henry Trotter, the fourth, a.k.a. Home Run Try, a.k.a. Casino P, a.k.a. Mock Tube, a.k.a. Quinn with the pen and with the lens, a.k.a. Mr. Lone P, a.k.a. Golly, I got a lot of monikers. Man. Home run. I said home run trot, didn't I? My boy Kadarius Toney already in the red zone. We gonna come win this fantasy line. My boy from the 251. My dog drinking that. We got to come up with a name for that, bro. That's got to be a staple of the show. Like that juice got to be a staple of the show. You got to put one of your aliases with that juice right there, man. That's got to happen. You got to come with your tea, you got to come with some alcohol, and you got to come with that juice. Square business, man. How you doing this evening, bro?
Man, y'all already know I'm feeling good, feeling grind. I can't even talk, man. So you know I'm feeling fine, feeling good, feeling great, feeling all that shit. How are you? I don't know. It's something like that. But this your nigga C.O.D, the Cater Boy Music, a.k.a. Big Tabby, a.k.a. Tabula Rasa, a.k.a. Gordon Hamsey, a.k.a. goddamn 315-4. If you know what it do, man. You already know. Out here on a Monday, a.k.a. November 1st, man. Big shit headed into No Shade November, so I had to get my trim on it, even that thing out. Cause it right here, this shit gonna look like some real silly shit in about 3 weeks.
It's the first of the month. This is a Spike P joint, by the way. Spike P joint in the building.
Titties. And for the people who don't know, people from the South say that it is real fast, and it sounds like that titties.
That it is. Give me some headlines. Season 1, episode 29. Bankhead Bounce is the name of this episode. It is a Spike P joint. Yeah, man. I'm still coming up with them joints. I'm still coming up with them head joints, man. We 29 in. And I got many more. I can't even tell you how many I got. But welcome to the newest edition, installment of the show, man. And me and my dog just got done, man. You know, we like to be transparent with the people. We just got done having a heart to heart about something that I was supposed to do that I didn't do. But I did.
Can I share some transparency with you?
Yeah.
I am so taken aback and flabbergasted by how creative you have been with these different names to season 1. It has been added to my bucket list to request fellatio with each of these titles at some point in my lifetime.
That's what's up.
The easiest one I think will be head of the class. I've already thought of 10 different ways to ask for that. in the presence of people you can't talk about asking for head in front of. That one gonna be easy, but you know your titles. It's something that's gonna be hard as fuck.
Yeah.
But the fucking list ain't supposed to be
head.
easy. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. The great thing about like I judge things based on like very weird stuff.
Head,
man.
shoulders, knees, and pros.
Yeah.
You let me rename an episode to something with that pun, and you had used it a couple episodes earlier. Just so you know, I went back and fixed it because you graded this shit, and very early on, I said, "Yeah, I ain't fucking with his titles no more. That's his thing." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm let my nigga do
we
it.
got headquarters. We got deer in the headlights. We got
both of them
in the department. We got headband Braun. Yeah, head honcho.
If I ask for that deer in headlights, that means some road head. I'm gonna need that thing on the go. You hear me? Stop wherever you are. Yes, rubberneck. You talking about?
We got some obvious stuff that people to miss, man. Yeah, we making this thing famous. GSH boys, Cowboys, man. Well, welcome to the episode. It has been a eventful past week. A lot of things have happened in the world. A lot of things have happened in sports. A lot of things have happened in entertainment. A lot of things have happened in our personal lives. Hopefully, a lot of things have happened for and to you out there in the worldwide web, as they so call it, on this beautiful November 1st, heading outside of spooky season, heading into the season to be thankful. But yeah, man, we gonna hop into this thing.
Hopefully, y'all Pimp C prostitutes.
What that mean?
Top notch hoes getting the most, not the less.
That's funny. That's funny. Like, country niggas say the best shit, man. What would the world do without like country?
He just called me a country nigga, and all I can be is like, yeah, that's it. Where's the shoe fit?
Like, what would the world be without country niggas? Top notch hoes get the most, not the lesser. That's some country shit to say. But that is the orange juice makes an appearance. But that orange juice is distracting. I ain't even gonna front.
I ain't realized until I heard the pause. I was like, that fucked something up. But I'm fucking this shit up, bro. I ain't gonna tell you where from. This shit smacking though.
Is that chicken?
I'm in a Hawaiian roll. Yeah.
Oh yeah, them Hawaiian rolls be bunking, man. Ain't a many of them in the pot, man. But yeah, I want to get into a story my G brought to us, man. From the Twitterverse. A goofy, as he has been so aptly described as, has found himself in the news and memed with one of his latest tweets. And that tweet so goes, I haven't get paid. And I don't even want to make my guy seem like he in a rush. He tweeting these things.
Read it how he wrote it, bro. Read it how he wrote it. Did James Harden by that ass nigga his legs so much longer than his torso? Read it how he wrote it, cuz.
All right. I haven't get paid for music, and I don't know how much money labels make off me. I need lawyers ASAP. This is a tweet by your man's Meek Millie from North Philly, talking about how he is not getting paid. Bruh, we just gonna jump straight into this. I ain't even gonna sugar. Hit me with that follow-up, my G, because
if y'all are unfamiliar with this, okay, we gonna stay on topic. If y'all unfamiliar with this guy, Meek Mill, he is the flagship artist for Maybach Music Group. If you are unfamiliar with Maybach Music Group, it is a label ran by Triple C's affiliate, Rick Ross. If you are familiar with Rick Ross, then you know one of his big moments in pop culture as of late in recent history was him criticizing Birdman, a nigga who has been running a label who has had the group or artist of the time on their roster since 1999. Rick Ross made a whole ass song and video and went on a press tour promoting his album with the flagship track being Idols Become Rivals, criticizing Birdman for not paying Lil Wayne his fair share. Meek Mill is absolutely nothing you call him if not the Lil Wayne of MMG. You can call him weird. You can call him a loud, high-pitched, fast-rapping, excited-ass nigga, whatever. You can love him. You can hate him. You can call him whatever you want to. He is the consistency that Rick Ross built his empire off of. He is what made it to where Rick Ross didn't have to release 3 albums a year. He is what carried MMG until he went and found Wale for Lauren. He is the nigga he put his homies from Dade County on the track with to legitimize his rappers early on. Niggas who ain't even rapping no more, who just did it because he was doing it. Meek bend the fuck down and don't know how much the label, the boss, make off of his music. You know, I'm not even gonna read the lyrics, man. I got Idols Become Rivals pulled up, and I'm not even gonna read the lyrics. Just know that the whole song is about him criticizing Birdman for not paying his artists properly and for not being about what he talk about. This man's entire energy and mode is called boss life. He is the boss and the employee not getting paid. So if I was Meek Mill, I'd change my rap name to The Employee so that people actually expected to give me a fucking paycheck at some point. Huge fan of Rick Ross music. To this day, I will fight niggas about Triller being a top 10 hip-hop album. I do not believe Rick Ross get his proper respect. But if we're going to talk about Idols Become Rivals, then we're going to talk about when keeping it real goes wrong and not minding literally your own motherfucking business make you look like an asshole. We're going to keep it real because I have a great deal of respect for Rose. So when he did something that I felt like was very deliberate, committed, and out of the way, you can't put on the cape for Wayne and love him so much you willing to go on a whole press tour on his behalf and not be willing to make sure your flagship artist getting paid for his music. Yeah. You can't be so focused on other niggas' business as the boss. You can't have 30 streams of revenue. You can't be patting yourself on the back for the Wingstop play and your flagship artist not be getting paid either. You are not better than Birdman in any way, shape, form, or fashion. If you convinced yourself you are, if what Meek Mill is bitching about is true. So if we're going to talk about when idols become rivals, we're going to talk about when keeping it real goes wrong. And that's what just happened. How you feel about it, bro?
Yeah, man. Definitely share your sentiments that
and the reason I ain't read the bars, y'all, is because the song hard as fuck. Not because he whack, because once I read him, I was like, oh, nah, he rapping his ass off. But he wrong as fuck, though. Yes,
yeah. A follow-up tweet to Meek's tweet, also by Meek, is ask the record label, ? How much they spent on me as an artist? Then you ask how much you made off me as an artist. I'm about to make my record deal public by Monday, just to, and he didn't say anything following that, but it's cold blooded,
about needing lawyers and making it public so somebody who believed they could help would reach out.
Right. Okay. I got you. And that's like you said, you may call Meek Mill whatever you want to call Meek Mill, but that man has been the anchor to his record label for the past several years, man. And for his, like, you can't, and also, like, I hate that we just not hearing about this, and I hate that it's happening in hip hop, and we hear about it so often, man, is that all these bad contracts, bro. Like, all these cats are signing horrible contracts, which is what we coming into the game to, not just to remedy, man, but like to show people how a well-run business is well-run. And at the very bare minimum, when you're doing work and you're making money off somebody, they deserve their just due of that revenue. And we also talk about how you don't get what you deserve, you get what you're able to negotiate. And so whatever has been negotiated, also, like, that is that, like, Meek, we get a lot of cats into our industry who are artists, and they don't understand what you and I are doing on a projected daily basis, which is reading all you need to know about the music business. Because whenever you have art, people want to consume that art. And whenever you have that art and it's great and people want to hear it, then the market sets a price for it. And when the market sets a price for it and you are the artist, you have to protect that, because people are always going to want it. It's part of the reason you probably want to be an artist, is so people want to see it. And somebody's always going to try to monetize it, even if it's not you. And so if, as a creator, get what you want out of, and like, cause Meek always telling us in his music, he in this thing for the money. If it ain't about the dollars, if his music is, as he presents it, authentic.
He also say he hate weirdos, and one of the weirdest niggas you'll find. These niggas
him to
weirdos.
Say that he's not one of the weirdos? You expect somebody who has gotten to where they want to, has gotten what they want out of the thing that they've been doing their entire life, to believe that they're a weirdo. They would feel like everybody else.
I'm just pointing out, exactly. I'm just pointing out that nigga a weirdo, so that everybody else understand this nigga is running around sick of normal motherfuckers and talking boss shit while not being compensated for what his main job is.
Yeah, that's weird.
Think about the content on his third album, and he hadn't been paid for his music. He don't know how much his label making off him. Thank God Radar Scheme is Radar Scheme instead of being us chasing something, if you know what the fuck I mean. Thank God it's a scheme. And it being radar as well, as opposed to being us chasing something. That being a part of the focus is very deliberate. But the last element of this I speak on is I'm extremely disappointed.
There you go.
I'm extremely disappointed in how many artists sign other artists to these type of deals.
Yeah.
Because it's crab in a bucket syndrome personified.
Yeah. Speak on
I am not getting what I deserve, so I will make up for that by Berry Gordy and a bunch of other niggas.
By
under the guise of giving them a platform. Exactly, yeah.
And can I make the biggest point that I wanted to make?
And Rick Ross justified because he put a decade in the ghostwriting for the Trinas, the fucking Trick Daddies, the signing NDAs, so this big nigga without the beard would never get credit for writing these songs that was winning Grammys and shit. Like, Rick Ross put in a ton of work to get the way he was.
He did. Can I give you another insight though?
Go ahead. Yeah.
How, like you said, he has made his living off of Boss Life being the statement of, or the mission and the vision of his label or his persona. He is People talk about him. Well-respected people in the game talk about him for this one thing that he does. How the fuck is the flagship artist on his label not doing this thing? Rick Ross is known for teaching niggas financial literacy. Meek Mill, Nipsey Hussle talked about it in one of his damn songs. I fuck with Ross because he teaching wealth. How the fuck you teaching wealth and your flagship artist out here not getting paid?
See, what Meek Mill is a depreciable asset. And the more knowledgeable he become, the more depreciated that asset is, because it's the less you could gank him. Ain't that a bitch? That shit.
Like, that nigga Meek Mill is Ross not known for teaching financial literacy, man? Is that not something he known for in the game?
But even beyond that, bro, this the same nigga. I don't know if you fuck with $1 million worth of game. And heads up to the people, a little foreshadowing, a little surprise. Coming into season 2, man, GSH will have 2 episodes, and 1 episode will be us flat out aggregating other podcasts because the world needs that, and we gonna be that for the world. And me and P just gonna take turns telling y'all and telling each other about some dope ass shit that we consumed from a different podcast that week, and we'll touch back in on stuff we've consumed. But this nigga was on $1 million worth of game talking about some, once a chick respond to a DM, I already know I got her. So this the same nigga who out here on this slick shit. Like, if your girl respond to my DM, it ain't on me to respect your relationship. I feel like this nigga, like, if you don't realize that I'm trying to get as high as cut on each flip of this brick as possible, and you don't realize you my brick, that's on you. I feel like that's how Meek Mill got done. Coke don't know how much it costs. You the product. Of course you don't know how much you cost and how much money you making. Talking about how much the label spent on me, how much money has the label made on me. A brick never know that. It just go from place to place until it get cooked and cooked by the user. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like Meek Mill didn't, like, that tweet could have said, I am simply a product. I thought I was a business partner. That's all. That's what that tweet could have said. I'm a product. I thought I was a partner.
No, I'm a product. I thought I was an employee.
He human capitalized.
He getting snorted. And he not, and you don't pay the break, do you? Man. So understand that, people. You can be the product, you can be the employee, you can be the boss, you can be a partner. Know which one you are, because it seems like he is wildly out of touch with which piece of the puzzle he is.
And know that if you dream of making music or being an entertainer, he just named 6 people and you only one of them. Unless you're not, if you know what I mean.
Square bitty, man. Square bitty. You ready for that guy?
Yes, sir.
Welcome to Gimme Some Headlines, Season 1, Episode 29, Week 5 of us dropping Baecation. Y'all been waiting for it. And we've been waiting to give it to you. And it's finally here, man. The people will never know about the experience of creating a piece of work, man, that you have, like, that has come together over time, man, and you invest in your time to get to a place and record some things, man. My dog put a whole lot of work into these lyric videos. He put a whole lot of work into the engineering side of things. He put a whole lot of work inside the curating of beats for him to put these bars on. He spent a whole hell of a lot of time with my black ass on the phone talking about what he about to put into these lyrics, man. And I hear a lot of the raw. If you in photography and you're taking some pictures and you know about the raw copy of a photo, I spend a lot of time getting that from my guy before it get polished up, before it get tightened up, and before it get put into the flow and it get put into the songs, man. And so this is one that was written back when we was in the A together. The last time we was in the A together, and where that was my residential address. But my dog created a piece of art, man, and I was there to put the ad-libs on that guy. I was there for the recording of that guy. I was there for the chop session, talking about the lyrics to that guy. And then, yeah, I get to be here when my dog tell y'all about it, man. So let them know what they about to listen to, my G. Let them know what they about to consume.
Yeah, man. If you know anything about me, man, y'all already know. I follow producers like I do coaches. You feel what I'm saying? No matter where Andy Reid is, the offense on that team is going to be fucking amazing. You understand me? And if the boy Pharrell Williams anywhere in the vicinity, it gonna be fire. He don't have absolutely a goddamn thing to do with SWANG. But I just so happily to be listening to Ray Shermer, Eardrummers, Mike Will Made It, and watching the Happy video a couple of years ago, and it made me fall in love with that fucking song. If you've never watched Happy because I'm happy, if you've never watched that video while listening to Ray Shermer SWANG, do yourself a favor and do that shit. Or go to my IG at Decatur Boy Music on IG and scroll down and treat yourself. Cause that shit crazy. Like, yeah, when the shit go to Big Bang, take Lil Bang, hey, but I just understand. It cut the Magic Johnson dancing in front of the trophies, and he go do.
2.5 minutes of glory, man. Shouts out to the homie Sponge Beats, aka J Flame Emoji, man. This your nigga C.O.D, Decatur Boy Music, if you didn't know. Take a ride with the boy, man. Know some young nigga from the Bay.
That's your boy, hey.
Now they out here getting it in the A. They know some young nigga cross the border. Once I shop, pull up with whatever niggas order. I'm the money man. Now my hand don't ever touch no work. Thug consigli, yeah. Econ major. I might move some digits. I might fuck some bitches. I might sip some syrup if it dripping. I ain't tripping when it wrong. I might flood the kitchen. Bruh, call me from Prison City. How the fuck you living? Drag a bit for me. I got you, G. Know I'm about my gutter shit. Know I'm about my brothers, bitch. Know I'm about my empire and never seen an episode. Know I'm about my legacy, the greatest story never told. Pimp shit at it finest, bitch. Address me as your highness. Shout it, how he this spoiled after being poor, bitch. I don't know. I just know my mama birthed a legend on 1015. Triple B, Libra scale, Jonas well. Give on hell and rain too. Baby boo, you know I got you. Watch the plot boo, it's all cuckoo. Still strap new tech in the whip. And ain't shit on me, Bluetooth phone, give a fuck. I was raised a savage, never smoking bad bitch. Kush all in my lungs. You can call that shit a habit, still don't give a fuck. Lighters up, we gon' smoke this bitch out till they call the firefighters, bruh. Turn up, bitch. Burn up, ayy. Take it to the mount, blow an ounce, and then we drown the syrup. Jumping out the port with Dylan Goku in the hyperbaric chamber. Bitch, I'm brolic, my bitch quit me cold turkey. Now I'm out your fucking singers. Drowning in my tears, been a cut then disappear. Solar Chevy Cutlass birth up, guess it's foreigns all next year. I'm about to take it there. Nigga, we ain't playing fair. Radar scheme the team, feel the dream. There's some players there. Damn, I know y'all been waiting on me. I been laying low and fuck. Get down there right here, sticker. Ayy, might want put your bitch up, ayy. Might want throw that sixer, ayy. C.O.D the shit, bruh. No fake, no check, no mixer. I'm just strong, I'm just good. Granddaddy flow, Cadillac and 100 spoke. Spade talking domino, barbecue, we family.
You already know, goddammit. 2 minutes and 30 seconds of motherfucking hell. C.O.D, Decatur Boy Music, Spongy Beats, and your boy P.
So anyway, this has been embedded in my mind for years, and when we got ready to do this this album by the name of Tourist Attraction, we had to go test out an engineer. And I was like, I got something for his ass. And when I went through the studio, like my nigga P said, he pulled up. Cause that's how we did it when we was in the same city. If one nigga was at the studio, one nigga was gonna swing.
So y'all just watch my dog do his thing on that swing. Ray Shrimmer, inspired by the GOAT, Pharrell, inspired by Young Jits, getting it in, inspired by NASCAR. I didn't know niggas watch NASCAR.
Facts.
Inspired by the race, inspired by the crash of life. And so you heard that it was 2.5 minutes of just fire, flames, burning.
Yes, sir.
So, my G, what inspired the combination of this song with the visual that you chose for, like the visuals that you chose to go along with these lyrics? Because you piecing together like this puzzle, we talked about it a little bit in pre-show, and everything that you do is deliberate. Like everything is a deliberate decision in this art. And so for those lyrics to inspire or find a connection of consciousness with them jits getting it in and NASCAR, and then the decisions you made in cutting it up. So how did you call it the thought bubbles? How did the thought bubbles all mesh?
Can I answer without describing the transition from thought bubble to thought bubble?
Yeah.
Okay, well, 2.5 minutes of glory is 2.5 times 60 seconds, which would be 150. So keeping it $1.50. But if you also divide that by 3, that would be 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50. And I'm the fifth of 5 boys, but with a third. So there was a lot of numerology and why I chose the length of time I did for the freestyle. But dropping into the actual bars and telling the story, know some young nigga from the Bay. Now they out here getting it in the A. The duality that I talked to you about being in everything, a lot of niggas who hear that gonna think Oakland, but I'm talking about the Gulf. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now they out here getting it in the A. Know some young nigga cross the border. One stop shop. Anything. Oh, you feel me?
What you got, my nigga?
For those don't know, NASCAR originated from niggas in the South during bootlegging days, souping up cars so they could outrun the police. You feel what I'm saying? And then all of the dope boys, because that's what bootleggers were, the Kennedys and some of these political families who rose to prominence in the aftermath of Prohibition were dope boys. These gangsters and niggas like Al Capone that they say are gangsters and mobsters, they the same type of gangsters these niggas who sold crack were. They were selling the narcotics of their time. And that's really where NASCAR was birthed from, them getting together and racing they shit. So that's why keeping it $1.50 and that being an average speed for people driving in the middle of the pack. Then you get up was a 240 and shit once you get up to the top and you burning out of the turns and out of the curves and shit. But all of that shit deliberate, bro. And each bar build into itself. I can't even really go in and explain a bar because I said exactly what I meant the whole motherfucking song. And the reason why this was written in cursive is because at the time I recorded the song, my big brother was still behind bars. And I had found so much fucking trouble in writing letters to him. So I wrote raps to him instead. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm.
And this was like, get a call from my big brother in prison. He said, how the fuck you live and drag a bitch for me? I got you, G. No one buy my brother shit. Know I'm about my gutter shit. Know I'm about my brothers, bitch. Know I'm about my empire and never seen an episode. Know I'm about my legacy, the greatest story never told. Pimp shit at his finest, bitch. Address me as your highness, shouting. How he this spoiled after being po, bitch. I don't know. I just know my mama birthed a legend on 1015. That my birthday. Triple beam, Libra scale. Jonah's well. If y'all know the story of Jonah's well, give them hail like the rain, and hail and rain too. Y'all don't get it. Give them hail and rain too, baby boo. You know I got you. Watch the plot fool. It's all cuckoo. It's cuckoo cow in my projects. Y'all, man, I just be rapping my ass off, man. Then week 5, and me and P agreed that after 5 weeks, we'd give y'all a playlist, but we was going to make y'all wait for the playlist, and we was only going to update it every 5 tracks. So check out these episodes to get these brand new motherfucking lyric video, Ning. Feel free to skip through it. That's why we give y'all the time code. But we going to give y'all the Baecation first quarter, man. The first 15. We going to give y'all SLS remix, cameras, distraction. What's next? Drip too hard. And then swang on y'all, nigga, man. Then we gonna swang on y'all, nigga. And then part of why the playlist of how it go through the SLS, it tell a story, man. And that's why the episodic take you on the journey through the mountains and shit. Cameras. The reason it's ballroom dancing is to set the mode and the mindset of like a promenade, you know what I'm saying? Graduation, an event where the come the fuck out, a moment you want to remember forever. You did what I'm saying? And then you transition into the distraction at the genesis of some of the love that I discussed in the process of us going through the art of Baecation. Music was a distraction as opposed to the centerpiece. That's why that one is just me in the motherfucking booth. And I'm actually recording a song called Oh Love, but I put the music to distraction over the top of it. Mm-hmm. It's the one where it be like, oh, love.
Yeah.
You're the special one I gave my love. It's that shit. That was me and Skip the Kid. You feel what I'm saying? But all of this shit, man, we telling a lot of story with these lyric videos. And can I show my cards, bro, and just keep it 100?
Do you think?
Needs is not gonna have lyrics. And to be transparent, it's a not so inside joke that one of the things it need is lyrics, but it don't have it. Cause it got some of the craziest bars of anything on the album. They be like, man, what the fuck he just say? Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Raised in the 90s, born in the 80s, crack baby. Raised in the weight. Wasn't even 6 when the crib got hit with the fur ray. Goddamn. Man, if I told you nigga how you swear I was talking bricks. Man, y'all nigga don't appreciate shit. I could write you niggas the Bible, then die on the cross, and y'all will find a way to bitch. Y'all don't hit me, man. I be rapping. But I'm not giving y'all the lyrics to Needs. We gonna drop that bitch as a video, and we might give y'all a lyric video in 2022, but we just gonna give y'all a visual that's gonna fuck y'all up for that Needs. That shit gonna slap, but it need lyrics, and y'all not gonna get them. How you feel about that?
I'm with it. That was, yeah.
Cause when you hear the content of the hook and shit, it's stuff you need to be doing when you vibe to that, even if it's on your TV. Put it on repeat, and you know what I'm saying, glance up when you want to, but be enjoying the content of the song while you vibe to it. You feel me?
Square bitty. That was up. I'm excited to see that guy, man. Let's see where since you're not adding the lyrics into it, I want to see like where the visual takes us.
It's all vibe, cuz just hey, you know how we do.
That's what's up, man. But yeah, bro, appreciate you putting that guy together, man. Week 5, the Baecation, SWANG remix. Shout out to Ray Sherman.
The ones up.
One of the homies about to beat some dudes up at a bar one night, and they look like Ray Sherman.
Yeah, I remember you told me you was in the club that night that Biebs had put the cigarette out on old boy.
On Post Malone and Post Malone.
You be dealing with some crazy club nights.
Yeah, I did. Them nights is my lady and her friends went out Halloween night at like midnight. I was like, y'all out y'all minds. Y'all out y'all minds. I'll be in here knocked.
Sleep.
Yeah, big knocked. I was on the couch.
You just gotta get somebody who with the fuckery out there with you, man. You ain't got no fuckery. You ain't got no Fallujah partners out there who ready for the war, man.
I'm good on that fuckery, man. I just realized I enjoy being in the crib.
You'll never find a nigga who younger than an old nigga who still act like he in high school. That fuckery keep you young, man. Keep your heart flowing. Dead ass. You see a 50-year-old nigga in the Ed Hardy t-shirt, I promise you, that nigga got a clean bill of health. He ain't got no worries. He don't give a fuck.
He eating too many cold cuts.
But I swear, man, I was at the doctor, man. Nigga talking about I had high blood pressure. Nigga came in that bitch, one of them tight ass leather vests on, looked like a Harley Davidson rider. I said, I know this nigga.
Talk to the people. Your boy gotta go.
Yeah, man. That's a bet, man.
This nigga C.O.D.
All right.
This song
well, we here at Gimme Some Headlines are avid supporters of NPR, and every now and again we'll give you a little bit of ASMR today, not tomorrow, and we'll take it down to a little bit lower tone and speak to you in a vibe that is a little bit more on par with the time of night that we film these episodes. And I, C.O.D, the Cater Boy Music, have been acting as GM of the GSH Conversation on Wax Boys, better known as GSH Cowboys. Fred is, excuse me, my dog, Quinn with the pen, Quintavious Dyson is CEO and Chief Executive Officer of the team. I'm Chief Operating Officer of the team. And this week, I made some special moves, you know what I'm saying? One was, remembering last week we had a bunch of fucking bye weeks and I put Najee Harris back in the fucking game. So we got his 21 points, which led to a drubbing. I'm talking about a quick the GSH Cowboys flat out smacked the shit out of Walter Payton this week. We beat them niggas 124.64 to 93.7. Matt Stafford got us 24.2. D. Henderson Jr. out there for the LA Rams got us 22.3. Calvin Ridley, to my surprise, sat out due to personal issues and got us a smooth ass 0 points on 0 receptions, 0 yards, and 0 minutes played. And Tyler Lockett got us 26.2, who was a pickup. If you go back and watch episode 21, the GSH draft special, that's crazy. We got so many fucking episodes. How do I remember which one is which? But anyway, that nigga P said, go get Tyler Lockett. And this is early in the draft. And like in my mind, I was like, I'm glad I got the mouse, because ain't no fucking way I'm drafting Tyler Lockett. And then the center of my Venn diagram just did it immediately. And when I say that bitch been performing nonstop all fucking year, even since Russell Wilson been hurt, he is not a product of his quarterback. And it is blowing my fucking mind. Tanner got us a smooth 26-point deuce. Now, Tyler Boyd is somebody I went and picked up Thursday, right before Thursday Night Football started. I have no idea exactly why I chose this nigga. But me and my dog are staunch believers in cool-ass Joe Burrow. And if you on that nigga roster, I figure at some point that pickle gotta come your way. You feel what I'm saying? No innuendo. And that boy went and got his 19 .74 this week, and he is who made up for Calvin Ridley not playing and helped us smack the shit out of Walter Payton this week. But to wrap up your update on the GSH Cowboys fantasy team, we are currently 4-3, headed to 5-3 this week with a win, and projected to finish. Excuse me. 5th in our league after being projected to finish first after the draft. It's a lot of fluctuation in that, but with me paying attention every week now, we on their ass, man. We on their ass. And my dog is back, man. That has been your GSH Cowboys update.
Bruh, that shit, it was killing me, man. For about 20 minutes, I was sitting here hurting.
Can I explain something to you real quick?
What's that?
Do you know why I did that whip noise? You think it's cause it's cowboy shit, don't you?
Yeah.
Nah, because when I looked up, I said, oh, my friend. And I thought about this episode of Friends where they be getting the TV guide and they got the wrong name on it, and it's Chandler Bong instead of Chandler Bing. And that episode, Joey be making fun of him for being whipped, and that nigga can't make the whip noise. And he keep going, whoop-ha, instead of whoosh. And Joey be like, you fucking idiot. It's whoosh. And that nigga, Matt LeBlanc whip is 10 out of fucking 10. That shit is like Foley artist quality. Like they went in the studio and replaced his whip with somebody cracking a whip or something. Like his whipped noise is fucking perfect. It's like Chandler shit is as stupid as his shit is perfect. And it just, in my head, all I did was focus on the show in the middle. And that's why I just went GSH Cowboys. But that's what was happening over here. Those episodes of Friends.
That's funny. I've never watched, I don't even know if I've ever seen that full episode of that guy. And you talk about it incessantly.
Oh, my G, bro.
But you talk about it a lot.
Nah, you can say incessantly, bro, because I've watched the whole series several times at different points in my life. I spent spring break in SWANG, and I was supposed to be studying for my comp. But I had a friend of mine bless me with some tree hip hop had got from Jamaica right before he went on spring break, because his daddy didn't want him to have to do no silly shit to get it while he was out of town. So he came to SWANG, got him straight before he got on the road to go to spring break. Realest nigga I ever met. So he got me straight before he left. He like, you staying here? Senior year? I was like, yeah, bro, I'm going to study, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, bro, he taught me how to do a gravity bong, because at the time I was just rolling blunts. I wasn't even rolling papers. Bro, I did a gravity bong every day when I woke up before I went to work. Cause Miss B had worked the job out for me, so I got paid the whole time to study for my comps. Nigga, I ain't study for shit, bro. The first day I sat down after hitting that gravity bong, and the door opened, and the dean of student life walk in and say, "You doing that on purpose, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, I see you. How you doing today, man?" You know, he was a dick, man. He was a dude who wasn't Greek life, but he was in charge of Greek life. So he was trying to take down frats his whole time at SWANG. So we was enemies and shit. So he thought I was being a dick, but I really ain't see him. And I realized, oh, damn, I need to do something. I'm in this bitch zonked out, nigga. I walked across the street to the library and rented the whole first season, and they had the whole series. I watched season 1 on Monday, nigga. Cause it's 20-minute episodes. 3 episodes is an hour. A full season, 24 episodes is about 8 hours. So I got paid to watch the whole series of Friends while I was on spring break. I didn't study shit, bro. I hit gravity bonds when I woke up on lunch, and as soon as I got off work, and I studied 2 or 3 days before the comp, B+. When I tell you that nigga Neckbone was furious, cause he knew I didn't study. I'd just be walking around the library and shit, He'd be like, bro, you ain't sat down yet. I said, I'm in the big getting exercise and I'm looking at what y'all studying. So I'm picking up the information because they was working whiteboards and shit. So they'd be working on the concept and I'd just stand and listen to people talk through the problem. And in my head, I'd correct the shit that was wrong. And if it was right, I'd just process it and be like, okay, that's good stuff. You see what I'm saying? So I studied, but I ain't sit down and study at all because I told you, bro, my freshman year, it was 4 niggas who graduated. And I told myself, it ain't a goddamn thing this university could do that they was able to survive that I will fail at. And 2 of them dumb niggas were econ majors. I said, ain't no way in hell I'm failing this comp. So I'd be damned if I studied for it. Had I studied, I probably could have got an A, but who gives a fuck? I ain't never had to put that on a job application.
Right. And that's the thing, man. Like, you spend so much time on grades and shit. Like,
yeah, I ain't never gave a fuck.
You know what grades teach you? Hey, try hard. Try hard.
I ain't framed my degree neither.
If you want to do something well, get in the habit of trying hard.
Told you, buddy.
We'll reward you for trying hard. That's all it is, man. And I know, like, a lot of this shit I didn't want to try hard on. I know how to try hard when it's something I give a fuck about.
Exactly, bro.
Like, I'm not in here, like, football. I played football because my dogs love football. Like, this is all my friends was. This is all my dogs play basketball, my dogs play football. I didn't really even like sports, to be honest with you. It's super cool. Like, it's cool. Like, the competition side of it is super dope. And a lot of these games are very beautiful. Like, basketball is literally ballet. Football is a very intricate sport and a sport of skill, even though it is a sport of collisions. Like, it is a chess match and how you move 22 players on a 53 and a half by 100 field running across imaginary. Like, it's the story. And you can tell a lot of really cool stories with 22 completely different fucking personalities within these confines. That is super fucking cool. And I got to do that shit for a very long time in my life. But sports is not something that I looked at and was like, man, I'm about to try fucking hard and prepare myself for this fucking shit so this white man can get rich and I can just be out here running around. Fuck that. I'm doing this shit on my terms as best I can. If I got to go somewhere and be where he say I got to be or have some grades for me to play this shit with my dogs, because that's the best part about this shit. And it's the reason I didn't fucking quit. Like, that's the only reason I didn't quit that. I hated that shit. Who the fuck want to put on 15 pounds of pads and go out in the goddamn southern heat for fucking 3 hours on end and burn the fuck up and run into another motherfucker? Us. Fucking idiots. But bruh, like, the game is the fun part about it. I fucking hated practice, except for the clown and shit, bruh. And they used to hate that shit. Like, nothing makes a white man worse than a motherfucking nigga not listening to him.
And all I can really say,
let's cut into his paper,
is that's the importance of representation in leadership. I didn't have a white coach until I got to high school, and he got fired my freshman year. So
I didn't have a black coach until I got to fucking college. Outside of my dad, I didn't have a black
These
coach.
were some of the first positive male role models I had outside of my big brothers. These were the first men who showed consistency in my life. These were the first men who showed a vested interest in seeing me get better for my own good. These were the first men who had ever spent their own time and resources. Because even at that age, I realized how little being a high school coach paid. You feel what I'm saying? I realized that these niggas worked full-time jobs and found a way to get their ass there to practice. So I ain't complain with how long we was at practice. Because some of these niggas' kids was on the team. Not only is they working full-time jobs, these black men were coming and coaching the team and then going home and being fathers. You feel what I'm saying? These were active fathers, not only football coaches and stewards over our maturation physically, So then when I got good coaches in high school, after the white coach got fired, we got actually great coaches who were black men. And I learned the difference between good leadership and bad leadership. Not only just people who wanted to be there and the consistency, but I was able to identify the difference between good and bad leadership. So without football, man, my knowledge of how to interact with people wouldn't be where it was. My emotional intelligence wouldn't be where it was. Like beyond mechanisms, like finish the drill. Like until I die, I have not failed. So if you want to see me fail, you're going to have to kill me, because until I die, I still have the chance to achieve my goal. I set out the goal to be walking around in the vessel that I walk around in right now when I was 16 or 17. I wasn't walking around in this body until I was 27. Quit playing football at 22, started to do the process. It took about 5 years to get there and consistently be there. And I'm 40 pounds under what my goal was. This stuff don't happen without the process of being broken down and rebuilt.
Yeah.
By people you can trust to do that. And I understand the importance of what you say when you speak on not having that positive representation, especially melanated leadership, and having people who look like you to be able to. The brother Shannon Sharp said in the best way I can, and he said it's a lesson that one of his coaches, either his grandfather, gave him, where he say, son, you got to submit your talents to the coach. You feel what I'm saying? Whatever you believe you can get to the game, however special you think you are, if you're going to be positive for your team, you have to submit your talents to the team, submit your talents to the coach. And until you really willing to give that up, that trust, you ain't been on a great team unless everybody trusted the coach. Because niggas think that, I run through a brick wall for my coach. If you truly submitted your talents to a coach, then he cultivated an environment where you were willing to run through a big brick wall for the nigga who lined up next to you and you hated him. That's how the great coaches built the team that I was on.
Yeah.
That was the difference between the good ones and the bad ones. The great ones, we all hated that nigga. And the terrible ones had people he wanted, like he was trying to be certain people's friends. And he was successful at giving special treatment to certain players, but he wasn't successful at building a good team. You know what I'm saying? Or making the players he was trying to treat special like him. They just knew that they was going to get special treatment if they entertained his fuckery. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a crazy dynamic, but yeah, being able to decipher good leadership and bad leadership was huge, bro.
Speaking of, can I do something for you, man?
Give me some headlines.
I'm about to give you some headlines, dog.
Appreciate you, man. But dog, would it take a tinkle and we derail the hell out this bitch?
Yeah. I was trying to make sure I wrote everything down for the transitions, but we'll see how it go.
Well, I got the screenshots.
So we got a number of topics, man. It's gonna go all over the place. I did have some ones I wanted you to choose, but I'm not gonna say what they are. I'm just gonna say them, and I'm gonna let you choose what you choose, and then we'll go from there.
Can this be the first GSH multi-dealer's choice? Can I choose more than one?
I'll let you choose more than one. Okay, that's what's up.
Okay. Do your thing.
Right.
Get it popping in, Chris Breezy.
There's a few of them in here. Hold on. All right. I'm going to start off with a heavy hitter. Father and
be
son.
doing dumb shit when I know you ain't looking.
Sorry. Here we go. When we do it like this, you know who the article comes from. You know where it was found. You know where I'm reading it from. You know the source. Our good friends over at NPR. Now, this story comes from NPR.org. It's an international story. One of a father and a son coaxed from jungle 40 years after Vietnam War. That is your headline from the NPR. Our next story comes from the New York Post. I can't read. Yeah, if it's not NPR, only NPR get that kind of love. New York
Switch
Post.
it up. New York Post. Bing bong. No.
Bing bong. Amazon driver fired after scantily clad woman caught slipping out back door.
Oh.
Damn. Next story is
shit.
Fast Company. They report the way we buy and use toilet paper has changed forever.
Oh, you said use toilet paper?
The way we buy and use toilet paper has changed forever.
Okay. I thought you said buy used toilet paper. I said, where they doing that at?
That's germs. Shout out to Big Boy.
All right. To be honest with you, that second one sound wildly intriguing, but that first one, you did such a good NPR voice. I ain't hear shit you said. I just heard the NPR. So I really want to know what the fuck you was talking about. So I'm choosing the first story because it's a surprise.
That's awesome. I did not tell you to pick that one, but you chose that one, and that was one of the ones I definitely wanted you to pick.
What was the other one you wanted? Was it the Amazon?
Nah. Oh, yeah, it was Amazon. Yeah.
Because I feel like that's one you put in there because you think I'd choose it because that's the one I wanted to choose.
The second one was the Amazon joint.
That was the turd in the punch bowl. That was the one that was C.O.D approved. He know that's right up my alley. He was giving me a headline with that one. He said, "Yeah, I think Dave like this shit." Yeah. What was that first one though?
Father and son coaxed from jungle 40 years.
Oh yeah. And in my head, I was like, I wonder what was the snack of the time that they used to lure them niggas out of the woods, all Hansel and Gretel style. Where they used some whatchamacallit bars, like what was popping during Vietnam. You feel me? Like I was like, how you coax a nigga out of jungle? That's why my mind went to a crazy place. The Venn diagram fucked me up. I definitely want to hear that one. That one sound fire.
Bet that. So
go on there, maestro.
We're gonna get back across that title. And we're going to talk about that headline one more time. This one comes to you from the NPR. International story. Father and son coaxed from jungle 40 years after Vietnam War. 4 decades ago, Ho Van Thon fled the fighting in his native Vietnam, disappearing into the jungle with his infant son, Ho Van Lang. This week, father and son emerged for the first time. An enfeebled Thon carried in a stretcher, and Lang wearing only a loincloth made of tree bark. According to the Vietnamese newspaper Dan Tri, Ho Van Thon, now 82, was last seen in 1973 running into the jungle after his wife and 2 other children were killed by a bomb or landmine near his home. When Thon and Lang, 42, were finally coaxed out of the jungle in Vietnam Central Quang Nai province on Wednesday, they had been living 20 feet up in a treehouse, stocked with arrows and other makeshift hunting implements. So, what actually happened in this story is the news has been calling this the real Tarzan. This young man had been in the jungle for 40 plus years.
Damn.
And after hearing that part of the story, what do you think? Like, what thoughts ran through your head after hearing our father and son had been in the jungle surviving together? The dad 82, the son 42, in the Vietnam jungle, found wearing a loincloth.
Boy, is it convenient that America writes the history it tells people about the wars that it engages in. There's no one in America who's going to have that type of story as a result of the Vietnam War. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that was my first thought, if I could truly be honest, that history is truly written by the victor, even though we lost that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's crazy that war has been over for longer than I've been alive, and that man been in the woods for longer than I've been alive. I just put it in more and more context at how crazy what you were telling me was. The final thing you said was that they still felt like they needed to be protected from attack. Stocked with hunting, like arrows, Nick? You think that was just for food or just in case some American came through that motherfucker because they won the war and they wasn't going south? You feel what I'm saying? Like, y'all can have that part of Vietnam, but you come your ass to this treehouse, we dying about this shit. That's what that felt like. Bro, y'all killed my wife and baby with landmine. You feel what I'm saying? It sounded like until his father had to be carried out on a stretcher, they lived a life where they were willing to die about that shit. That sounds stressful as fuck, cuz. And that's all the boy ever knew.
All he ever knew for 42 years. That's what he knew. Do you have any additional thoughts before I hit you with the next wrinkle in the story?
The last thing I say, imagine how much better silk feel on your Johnson than even cotton do. This nigga had loincloth made out of bark? The fuck? That's my last one, and I'll leave it at that. Bark?
They brought him out of the jungle. He died shortly thereafter from cancer. They found them, brought them to what they called in the story, coaxed them out, brought them to civilization, as they called it, documented them traveling on a plane for the first time, documenting them wearing pants for the first time, documenting doing all these things short time after he passed away from cancer that he didn't have when he came out of the jungle. I think he lived in civilization, quote unquote, for 3 years. Developed cancer, passed away. A boy who survived being a 1-year-old, essentially, in the jungle of Vietnam with his father for 40 years, spent 3 years in civilization, as we call it, and he passed away. Now, I know, and I apologize for the heaviness, but I definitely wanted to, I wanted to hear your thoughts.
Wow. I don't even really have no thoughts, man. You said it all. If I create a hypothesis as to what caused that, if I pointed out things that are obvious that are auxiliary to that, people would call me a conspiracy theorist. So I just simply say that think about this in your personal life when you're dealing with people. When you hear the question word how, it's usually from a person who cares. How are you doing? How much have you had to eat today? You feel what I'm saying? That type shit. If you hear why, it's usually from someone trying to gain information that will equip them to change something. Hey, boo, you want to go to the grocery store with me? Nah. Why not? Whatever your why will then be knocked down so that now your ass is going to the grocery store. You feel what I'm saying? Motherfuckers' whys is to gain access. So I just simply say, as a citizen of the world and human being, remember that as a kid, when grown-ups didn't have an answer to your most basic question, the thing that your instinct, when you were growing as a human being and trying to figure out the world around you and learn how to be a human, the thing you asked ad nauseum so that you could figure out how and what and when to do and all of that was why. You asked why over and fucking over until people just lied to you because they didn't have the fucking answer. Keep asking why. Don't let the world have beat it out of you. A lot of people let the world beat why out of them. Ask yourself why a motherfucker could survive with tree bark panties and his father raising him in the wilderness with no vaccinations, no inoculations, no flu shots, none of that shit that niggas believe they need to survive the wintertime. And then he come to civilization for 3 years and die of cancer. Why would it be cancer? A disease that is defined simply by abnormal cells forming in the body. Why would civilization cause abnormal things to form in the body of someone who was living in a natural environment for 40 years? Why? 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 Keep asking why and understand that the reason you stop asking why is because you were yelled at, punished, and or lied to. That is why you stop asking why. Start back asking why and learn how to figure out whether or not you're being lied to because they don't have the answer or don't want you to have it.
Shout out to the God, Jadakiss, for putting that art into the world. Oh, why? I had Anthony Hamilton on the track, did he not? On why? Did he not?
I ain't even think about that. I was like, the fuck he talking about? But yeah, you right.
The towers. Yeah, come on now.
Yeah.
Don't act like you don't know. Hey, we showing New York love today in the building, man.
I can't believe that didn't make the verses. Somebody said something to them niggas. They was like, don't play that. Why? That wasn't in his verses that he did by himself, was it?
Oh no.
Yeah, somebody told Jada that he shouldn't have did that shit. He too talented to have written that shit, bro. Cause he said way too much.
He said a lot in that guy. Like he said a lot in that guy.
That nigga said why Halle had to let a white man pop her to get an Oscar and why Denzel have to be crooked before he took it. And I was like, damn. They did not get that nigga the Oscar for Malcolm X, but they gave it to him for playing a dirty drug dealing cop who got murdered. And I was like, damn. They did not get that nigga Will the Oscar for Ali. And then look at all the shit he did trying to get that Oscar. They didn't get that nigga that shit for Pursuit of Happiness. I was like, they don't give it to you for being the hero when you melanated, bruh. Jada said a whole lot in that motherfucker song if you was listening to the shit he said.
Yeah, a lot. A lot.
Like, and that's one, like, compared to the other things he said, that was a throwaway line. They will not celebrate melanated people for positive representations in the media.
When was the last time you saw it? When
I don't know, bro. Crazy Kanye won a lot more than college dropout and late registration Kanye did. That's when we got the what the fuck is y'all doing with these award shows Kanye. Crazy Kanye started to get all the accolades.
But speaking of melanated people not getting what they deserve, I want to give you a little bit of timeline, my G.
You know, I'm at the Meek Mill.
Nah. So I was surfing the interwebs, man, and I came across this really cool story that prompted me to head down a little rabbit hole. Let me write down this timestamp right quick.
No innuendo, huh?
And in this story, I found out something super interesting, man. Like it really captured my attention, and I wanted to share it with the people of Gimme Some Headlines, because we are artists and we are curators of great content and history lessons and beautiful things in the world, whether that be music, whether that be ballet, whether that be golf, whether that be any type of art, or any way you design your life to be beautiful, man. We will definitely highlight it because we see something really, really cool in it. But there's this thing called the world's largest diamond ever found. I'm sorry, there's a story about the world's largest diamond on history.com. On January 25th, 1905, at the Premier Mine in Pretoria, South Africa, a 3,100 6-carat diamond. I'll repeat that for you. At the Premier Mine in Pretoria, South Africa, a 3,100 6-carat diamond is discovered during a routine inspection by the mine's superintendent. Weighing 1.33 pounds and christened the Cullion, it was the largest diamond ever found. Frederick Wells was 18 feet below the Earth's surface when he spotted a flash of starlight embedded in the wall just above him. His discovery was presented that same afternoon to Sir Thomas Cullion, who owned the mine. Cullion then sold the diamond to the Transvaal provincial government, which presented the stone to Britain's King Edward VII as a birthday gift. Worried that the diamond might be stolen in transit from Africa to London, Edward arranged to send a phony diamond aboard a steamer ship loaded with detectives as a diversionary tactic. While the decoy slowly made its way from Africa to the ship, the Cullion was sent to England in a plain box. Edward entrusted the cutting of the Cullion to Joseph Asher, head of the Asher Diamond Company of Amsterdam. Asher, who had cut the famous Excelsior diamond, a 971-carat diamond found in 1893, studied the stone for 6 months before attempting the cut. On the first attempt, the steel blade broke, with no effect on the diamond. On the second attempt, the diamond shattered exactly as planned. Asher then fainted from nervous exhaustion. And so I wanted to share that piece of the story of this diamond with you. And I'm definitely going to put this in the show notes. So you'll have those on all the platforms where you consume podcasts. Shouts out to my dog. And then I want to share this next part of the story with you, my guy. Queen Elizabeth II. Queen Elizabeth II owns the largest clear-cut diamond in the world, known as the Great Star of Africa. The gem was mined in South Africa back in 1905 and has an estimated worth of $400 million. That same diamond that the Queen wears around her neck is that same diamond that was mined in 1905. $400 million worth. The Queen of England, when this was mined in South Africa, they call it the Star of Africa. and the Queen of England is the person who owns it. So I bring up this story for multiple reasons. Like we can spend an entire episode about my thoughts about this because it is very multifaceted. I took my dog's approach to this, man, and I just thought about like all the things that like I could point at that it represents in this world. But having me read that, did anything jump out to you, my G? Like from hearing that story, from hearing the origin of that stone, that precious stone that was found in the motherland, and how it has been stolen from where it was embedded, where it was formed, and it's somewhere now completely foreign. And I don't see at any point in present or future history where it's extradited back home. Did any points of that story ever jump out? Or did any points of that story jump out to you, man? If so, what? Would love to hear what you got to think about it, or what you think about it.
The Venn diagram took me back to a class I had where I pissed off a lot of non-melanated people. I forget the exact class, but it was somewhere in the humanities field when we were at the University of the South, man. And I stood up and asked the question very simply: how much time has to pass before Nigerians can come and dig up George Washington and then put him on display in their national museum? How much time has to pass before that is okay? And they own his skeleton. They own his coffin. They own all of him. How much time has to pass before he is history and it is okay for them to excavate him in the name of archaeology? Whose permission do they need to own George Washington's skeleton as one of the founders of this nation? It really upsets me that it's melanated people who run around judging other melanated people's ability to survive in a game created by people who obtained all of the capital the game is played with through rape, pillage, plunder, and murder, and want us to buy it back with 30-year mortgages. Not a fan. And if ever people want to change how the game is played, I'll stop feeling like I was born in the wrong part of history. If ever people want to change how the game is played, I'll stop feeling like I was born in the wrong part of history. But if you think people who gained what they have through murder and manifest destiny will ever give it up, unless you are willing to do what they were willing to do to get it, you're simply wrong. Be willing to do what England was willing to do if you want that diamond off her neck. It's that simple. Amass enough power to force England to pay a debt that shouldn't exist to a country that has absolutely nothing to do with their wealth. Oh, wait, England has absolutely no fucking resources to build wealth from. That is why colonialism was necessary. None of Europe has a goddamn thing to provide value to the rest of the world, especially France. All of England's wealth is built off the backs of the rest of the world, mostly melanated Aboriginal spaces that they now occupy and still control to this day. So fuck that stupid ass diamond. It is simply a symbol, which is why she wear it around her motherfucking neck like they wear these stupid ass pendants of their companies, these rappers. It is a symbol. Yeah, it's the jewel of Africa, and it's around a tiny little white lady neck. as clear a symbol as possible as you could have. And the smile she have on her face, as evil and dubious as it looked, represent everything that it took for the jewel of Africa to be draped around the Queen of England neck. It's the reason why melanated South Africans speak with an English accent. And until people ready to make people born in Wales speak with clicks and noises, they're not gonna get what they deserve. That's how I see this shit. And if ever niggas get on changing the rules of the game to what they were when the current landscape was created, if ever they get on that shit, I'll stop feeling like I was born in the wrong time period. That's what I think when I hear that shit. Fuck that diamond. It's what it represents that pissed me off. It made me think about why Haiti is in the position it's in. And that's why France came up, and it was fuck France. Because it's a representation of that. You feel what I'm saying?
Right. And yeah, I told you that's why I chose the stories, because it prompted some thoughts of like what it represents a lot of ills.
Yeah.
A lot of ills. Like I saw that one and it was knee jerking. Like knee jerking. I had to go sit outside. I had to cut on some happy music.
It's that same shit that make people feel confident to call the religion of people from Athens and Greece, Greek mythology, but call Christianity religion. It's that same mentality. It's that history being written by the victors. Their religion is mythology. Our shit is religion. And valid somehow. The God I worship is real. And he wasn't made up. It ain't some shit that people gonna be calling mythology in 1,000 years. People not gonna be laughing that we threw away gods who were half human, half God, and could fly and fought wars and actually did the shit of the people of the time, and we sacrificed them for a nigga turning water to wine and bread and fish and did it. Like, niggas gonna look at our period of religion like one of the lamer periods of religion in history. Like, that's what y'all was on? That's what y'all was on.
That's what my guy from Scientology said. I got this.
Yeah. Yeah. I ain't mad at people worshiping these new religions, because I feel like to be a part of human history and be one of the only parts of human history that's not still creating new languages. Think about how many parts of human history have created new language. And y'all think people who speak Ebonics ignorant. No. They saying what I was given is not enough to communicate my human experience. So I'm going to make up new shit. Y'all motherfuckers who think human creation, human existence is done and all of the resources you have is all you need to be a human, y'all the niggas who broken. Shouts out to everybody worshiping new gods and shit. Feeling like we still got some figuring it out to do.
Man.
Shouts out to the people who realize that it's been cycles of people believing the earth was both. You know, it ain't even gonna go into that, but motherfuckers love being right until they wrong, and they spend very little time acknowledging that whatever everybody believe can be wrong, because it has been for centuries as the shit shift with new quote unquote evidence that is never actually new somehow.
Yeah. I appreciate you for sharing, man. Because I thought that was going to send you down a great C.O.D rant. And sometimes I just throw stuff in there very deliberately, like you be doing to.
Yeah, it sounded like you did. I tried to keep it as calm as possible because that shit made me mad. I ain't even gonna cap, bruh. Cause the Queen of England got a lot of shit on her name that I ain't cool with. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't really trying to create no beef over there. So speaking on none of that other shit. I just spoke on the world history of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's funny how the Aboriginal people of every land are melanated, but they want us to believe we got everywhere through slavery. It's a lot of shit about this world history that just fucking bother me, bro. The Aboriginal people of every fucking place on the planet are melanated. Even fucking Australia. But we got everywhere through slavery? How is that possible? So white people got everywhere first, and then when they got slaves and brought them there. That's how the melanated people got there.
Right.
And that's why they were equipped to build the civilizations of every nation on the planet. Motherfuckers who had no idea of agriculture or the lands they went to, they went and got slaves from a continent that had no new, like, bro, read the story and ask why. That's all I'm gonna say, man. Keep asking why. Some of this shit obviously don't make sense. It just don't fucking make sense. But because you trust the resource, you don't question anything else. And it's just a terrible fucking story. If it was a movie, you'd walk out of it. But since they gave that shit to you sitting in the classroom and tested your ability to regurgitate it as truth, you take the shit to be fact. And it is simply not the fucking case.
My dog really gonna take it. I said what I said, and I'm not saying no more. I'm not getting amped up about it, but nah, you're right, and I appreciate.
Yeah, bro. I had to put a stamp on that shit, bro. Cause people be wanting to call you all kind of crazy stuff and turn you into the Kyrie Irving thing, cause they don't understand how stupid it is to kill the messenger, cause they never discussed the message. Motherfuckers who barely pass science want to call Kyrie stupid because he believed the earth to be flat, because they feel stupid for not doing well on the test centered around the earth's makeup. You feel what I'm saying? But the one thing they do know is that it's a globe. All right, nigga. You don't know that either. That's all I'm going to say. You don't know a goddamn thing. You were taught something and tested on your ability to regurgitate it, but you don't know shit. Neither do I. Neither do Kyrie. But if you using your senses and your eyes, you'd believe something different than what the fuck you was taught. That's what the fuck I know. You feel what I'm saying? And that's what a lot of shit. If you believed your eyes and your senses, you'd believe a lot of shit that was different than what you were taught. But you were taught not to trust your eyes and your senses for obvious reasons.
Square bitty, man. Speaking of the, I always try to do that. Segue into another segment.
Do your thing. I was gonna see how you did.
Thing that you said.
I love not knowing what's coming next and seeing how you gonna transition to it. Go ahead.
Oh man, but it's the first time we've ever done this on the show, man. I got a GST2. I gave you some time once. I'm gonna give you one right, coming back to back, because that Queen Elizabeth II story was a story that I found on the timeline, and this is another story I found on the timeline. And the timeline is somewhere where I find good things to talk about, man, because it lets you know, with a lot of conversation is surrounded around. But this comes from a young lady named 202 at 202 Nat NATT from Twitter, and she was saying that there's this lady on TikTok who refers to her 10-year-old son as an inmate, and because he's having behavioral issues, he's 10. What 10-year-old doesn't? She throws away food he likes, makes him sleep with his mattress on the floor, and is emotionally abusive towards him. And that mother an additional detail to that story is like she'll buy him chips and stuff like that. And like his chips and stuff is treated like commissary. So like his bad behavior, like she'll take things like you'll start with a number and like he does something wrong, she'll take away. So he's not able to purchase these things. So she's treating him legitimately like
she's commodifying his behavior. Chores and good deeds are money that goes into his bank account. Things that she deems negative behavior takes away from his money. So he isn't able to buy food if he doesn't act right. Right. That's what he mean by turning it into commissary.
And so the details of this segment, I want to say, if we gonna break generational curses, let's break generational curses then. Let's actually break generational curses then. And I believe she thinks she's being a good parent by doing this to this young fella. But I'd like to talk about how we do things without seemingly thinking them all the way through, or why you think this is a healthy behavior. In the year of our Lord 2021, how is treating your son like it seems like she profits from this child's torture in a sense. And I don't know what environment she grew up in where treating things like commissary and treating him like he's an actual inmate because he has behavioral issues at the age of 10, how that helps his development as a young boy. And reading this story, there's so many things that you could back up to, like, all right, because it's cause and effect. You got to deal with these. We learned that in the lyric video that my dog created a couple weeks back, man. Last week when we did cameras. And the cause and effect of like certain issues, you have to understand that young man is his chances of going to the place you treat him like he already in vastly increase when you subject him to an upbringing where he is preparing him essentially for it. And so, am I right in that thinking? Or am I wrong? Or is there something that I'm missing in seeing that?
I'm a firm believer that anything another person feels is valid. So it's not my right to say whether or not you're right or wrong. I simply support you in how you feel about it. What I will share is that the things that makes me think immediately is it makes me feel sad because the Venn diagram get to working, and the first thing that pops off auxiliary to the thought bubble is this has to be possible to happen. And if that child's father is in his life, I don't think this is allowed. So I don't go to blaming his mother for doing, first of all, the act I feel is disgusting and degrading. It's something I would never want for my offspring. But I feel like it's a lot of comment on what other people do as parents on the internet, and I don't like to do it. But to speak on this act in general, I start by saying the environment created where that's possible is one, the father is not in the home. That is the only way. Forget the idea coming up. It is the only way treating your child like property of the state gets implemented. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Forget the idea. But beyond that, the idea, the inception, is built off of a false narrative given to women from an entity that seeks to remove the father from the home so that you depend on it, the government. The narrative that prison exists for rehabilitation has always been a false narrative. That is the only way you believe that behavioral issues with your child can be solved, through treating him like an inmate. The way they treat these prisoners is to establish and create good behavior. And this commodification of their behavior leads to them valuing good behavior so that they can get these chips and get these different things. That's where that belief is fostered from, because I have to hold on to the linear logic of this mother is acting in what she believes to be the best interest of her child, no matter how I feel about what she chose to do. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So working off of that logic, it makes me upset that she has been successfully convinced that prison exists to rehabilitate individuals as opposed to monetize them. When she does her best impersonation of prison, she commodifies her child and doesn't realize that that is what prison exists for. Point blank, period. The 13th Amendment did not end slavery. It took it out of the hands of private citizens and made it a government institution. It said that slavery will not exist in this country unless, as the punishment, as determined by law of the land. And the way they script that shit out is it is for felonies. So if you are convicted of anything where you are in prison for more than a year, you are property of the state. And that is how they have people in California fighting wildfires for 19 cents an hour for 20 years. And then they get out of prison and can't go get a job as a firefighter. You see what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah.
They weren't trying to rehabilitate that man. They was trying to use labor that couldn't refuse the work to do something that was essential to preserving California's existence. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But through media and all this other shit, they've convinced this woman that treating her child like a prisoner and preparing him for institutionalization will keep him from that path. That it will rehabilitate his behavior and prevent him from that, as opposed to prepare him for it. And it's just not the case. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All it's going to do is teach him that that is justified behavior and treatment as punishment for his actions. And not for breaking the law, but for not doing what his authority figure wants him to do.
Tells him to do.
Whatever rules made up from your authority figure, when broken, mean you should be treated like property. If you raise your child in that environment, when will he ever think that anybody who provides any value to me shouldn't be able to treat me like property? What employer will he think shouldn't be able to control his personal life? What coach, what educator, what person who may potentially abuse him, will he not internalize that damage as something he deserves somehow? This is how children end up being abused and not telling anyone. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
This type of shit empower abusers. When authority is misused, it allows for other people to abuse authority and the child not have a frame of reference for how to internalize or externalize what they feel. So this shit make me weep for the mother's maturation process and whatever made her believe that imprisonment or commodification of human beings lead to their rehabilitation. It makes me sad for her process and whatever made her believe this. And it makes me upset for what you talked about as far as the generational curse of what her maturation process was. Because beyond the DNA element, the flat out innate element of generational trauma being passed down on a cellular level, from a behavioral standpoint, this is Why don't white people beat their kids on steroids? The reason why white people don't beat their kids is because it wasn't a part of their culture for 400 years to beat their young into submission. Black folks beat their kids because disobeying your mother needed to have a consequence on par that taught you not to disobey authority, because disobeying the slave master could get your foot cut the fuck off. You feel what I'm saying? So you needed to respect authority on par with fear and consequence and pain. So even beyond it being a slave thing passed down of beating melanated young people into behaving, they had a need to do it in their own home so that a healthy fear and respect for authority was created. That's why white people don't beat their kids, because it was never a part of their culture to create a flat out fear for your physical health of authority. And I doubt you're going to find white households where they are treating their children like fucking prisoners, because they ain't raised to believe that they more than likely not going to make it to 25 without dying or going to jail like black kids are.
Right.
That's some shit I heard ad nauseum, bruh. The reason why to this day you won't catch Samuel Allen coloring a gray hair is because I see them as a badge of honor.
Right.
Because so many people I came up with never got gray hairs. I got people who I think about when I meditate who would take all of my strength not to shed tears for, who didn't get to wear gray hairs. I'd be damned if I color mine. You see, and for people who don't grow up with that type of thinking, they'll never have to worry about their parents turning chips and shit in the commissary. I bet this kid ain't never got no fucking allowance. You haven't done what you need to do as a parent to be the type of parent that can get his kid allowance, but you could turn him into property. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's certain environmental things that I don't think niggas realize are created. There are certain things that parents do that you don't do for your children and can't do because of the life you have lived and the choices you have made. But when you think of the perfect kid, you expect all of that shit from your child. And I'd be damned if you tell yourself treating them like a prisoner is okay in the process of getting to them being the child you want them to be.
Yeah, man.
I don't want my child to end up a drug dealer. I want him to grow up to be an ex-drug dealer. Is that what the fuck you shooting for? You dumb Never mind. I said I told myself the whole time I wasn't going to get to the ignorant part of the thought bubbles, but that shit fighting to get to the middle. So I'm going to toss it to you and shut the hell up. But you see how stupid that shit sound? Give me some, you feel what I'm saying, right? I want him to grow up to be an ex-drug dealer, rehabilitated. Give me some motherfucking headlines, man.
Square beady, man. So this next shit.
About to turn this shit into what you got for me.
In the newest episodes. Oh, man. All right. First story.
Damn, boy, you fucked it up with that episode, bro. What you said the name of this one was?
Bankhead bounce.
God damn, boy. You said, I'm going to get this nigga to turn up. He going to try to stay calm, and I'm going to get him riled up. Okay, go ahead, nigga. Give me some headlines.
Fox Business. Ice Cube refuses COVID vaccine and walks away from $9 million movie paycheck.
Ugh.
Fox Business. Shaq's message to his kids about money. We ain't rich. I'm rich.
Motherfucker.
NFL trade rumors, latest buzz on top names before 2021 deadline. Bleacher Report.
Let's go with Shaq, man. who has proved through his NBA commentary he ain't got the next generation best interests at heart. Yes, motherfucker. You ain't Superman. I'm Superman. Okay, nigga.
Fox Business reports Shaq's message to his kids about money. We ain't rich. I'm rich. Shaquille O'Neal recently revealed he tries to convey the value of $1 to his 6 children. Quote, they're kind of upset with me. Not really upset, but they don't understand. Close quote, the retired Hall of Fame basketball star said on the Earn Your Leisure podcast. Shout out to the homies. I follow them on social media. Quote, tell them all the time, we ain't rich. I'm rich. Close quote. O'Neal made millions during his NBA career playing with 6 different teams, winning 4 championships and winning the 2000 MVP award. He made millions more when his playing career was over with his own sneaker line, investments in Papa John's, and as a spokesman for the General Automobile Insurance, among other endeavors. He's also a basketball analyst for TNT's NBA shows. So, Shaq says, we ain't rich, I'm rich. And I just came off of ascribing or designating how I feel on parenthood on this young lady in the previous story. I'm not going to do that immediately with this story because I still have my thoughts, but I want to leave the floor open to you to give me your thoughts. And then I'm going to give you the thoughts that I have about what he said. But
let me tell you,
my dog.
Nah. Let me tell you how motherfucking mad it made me. It don't, bruh. Because if you look deeper into it, because we had Gimme Some Headlines named the show that for a reason, because we read the whole article. You dig what I'm saying? It's about not focusing on the interpretation so much as the content and then interpreting from there. And to extrapolate out from the embodiment of what he meant, what he was saying was, don't run around like your net worth is the number of kids I had divided by my net worth. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
You got to go to college. You got to get a BA. You got to get a master's in something and come to me with a business plan. And you got a bank that will give you a 0 interest finance and not a loan. You have your startup money, but I'd be damned if you just sit around waiting to spend my money and want an allowance all the way until I die. You feel what I'm saying? Right. And then you get my, right. That's what he was saying. So because I went deeper and saw all of what he was saying, all I can really say is, it's your shit, so I dig it. It is not how I plan to move when gifted with the same resources at all. It is just simply not how I plan on moving. And it is because some elements of what he's talking about would have been embedded and necessary in what I was doing in that maturation process. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But part of it, I will say this. It's a little bit unfair for him to have chose the partner he did because it precluded his children from generating wealth using the same methods he did. He could have easily chose a partner that gave them the genetic advantages he had. But he chose partners who were tiny with fat asses. They don't make 7'3" basketball players. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The only son he did have that rivaled his side had heart issues because his body wasn't built to sustain its size. And that's tough to say bluntly, but it is what it is. It's tough to be that big of a human being and operate it. Your heart and organs, it's tougher to be a big human being. You know what I'm saying? And having offspring with another big human being would have made it easier. LeVar Ball, call him what you want to, but he talks about choosing Tina deliberately. Beyond personality, she was his physical mate, his partner that he was looking for. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Lonzo, LaMelo, and LiAngelo are not mistakes in any way, shape, form, or fashion. They were planned, motivated, molded, and invested in every way, shape, form, and fashion. He made his life post football and shit about them and dedicated every ounce of what he did to them being able to do what they're doing now. And I don't hear LeVar Ball ever saying to one of them, we ain't rich, I'm rich. I hear LeVar Ball potentially saying, I ain't shit, but what y'all become. That's what I hear him saying. I ain't shit except for what y'all become. My life will be defined by what y'all become. I see that as how he moved as a human being. And that is why I love the boys. I'm a fan of the Balls because I'm a fan of LeVar, dead ass. I love LiAngelo in this order. I love LiAngelo, LaMelo, and Lonzo because I am jealous of the father they got to grow up with. That's why I love the boys. Like, they came to school fresh as fuck with that father they had on. Like, god damn, they got them brand new LeVar Balls on. Them nigga fresh as fuck. All right, dear. What it do, cuz? What we doing after school? Because I'm definitely coming to play video games. Because I'm you feel what I'm saying? I'm soaking up some of that LeVar Ball y'all niggas got on. Like, if we went to school together, I would have been their friend just because of who they pop was. Not because I wanted a goddamn thing they had, but just because I needed some of that energy in my life. No cap. Dead ass. So when I hear that shit from Shaq, all I do is think, bro, you just decided you felt like it and became a DJ on fucking Mickey Arison Cruise Line because you played for the Miami Heat. All of what you're able to do is because of who you are. What the fuck would be wrong with your children being able to do what they do because of who they are? You think Peyton Manning trying to make it more difficult for Cooper Manning? Or do you think Ole Miss and Tennessee have already sent scholarship offers to that nigga? And he a sophomore. Right. You feel what I'm saying? He already got offers from the colleges that Eli Peyton went to. And the Giants, the Saints, and the Chargers probably can't wait to draft him if they get the chance, even though they got Herbert. It's like, hey, man, if we got a chance to get a man and we'll draft him. If he on the board, you feel me? Like, it's a melanated thing to think nepotism is bad. And I toss it back to you on that note. That's the summation of what I'm saying. It's a melanated thing to think nepotism is bad. And it's only because through deliberate means, our history and ability to pass down generational wealth has been taken from us. And we celebrate everybody who started from nothing and made it to something. So we think that is the trait that is most admirable in our children because we fear leaving behind a lineage that will have to start from nothing and we will have not equipped them to be able to get it out of the mud. But I'd be damned if my next generation don't walk around with the belief that maintaining and growing wealth is the trait that they need to is the trait that they need to embody. You feel what I'm saying? I want them to be able to wake up and let love guide their decisions. And familial financial planning be something I have set the bedrock in place for. And financial literacy to be something they walk with and grow with as human beings, and it not be a conversation we have to have once they're grown. And if I am not blessed with children, then everything I have set aside will simply go to the offspring of one of my 4 brothers. It's that simple. And what they do with it, I trust because of who my brothers are. But this, I'm not like, bruh, I plan on dying broke and my children being wealthy so that the estate tax don't take most of what I've generated. The moment I am able to pay my children, all of what I create, every song I ever make will be produced, written, recorded, and created by my offspring. They will own 100% of the master's royalties and publishing on everything I do after they are born. I will not make any fucking money off of my music the moment I have a child to give ownership to. So they gonna be rich. I'm not gonna be rich. So I just like,
little nigga. You take
it. So I feel Shaq because it's his, and I respect where he coming from, and I read the entirety of it. It's just simply not how I plan on moving.
Right.
I look at that child as a seed I planted. And the healthier I leave the environment, the better job I did. Not the tougher it is and the worse environment it can grow in. The healthier ecosystem I leave behind, the more fruitful it will be able to grow and better off my lineage moving forward. That's the shit I'm on, and that's what I'd like to cultivate.
And speaking of leaving something for the next generation and leaving them being rich and you not being rich, them being just as wealthy or more wealthy than even you are because you are working to sow a ground where they can grow fertile and you are lighting the path in front of them. We didn't get to have a show meeting this week, man, which is abnormal for us. And so all of these thoughts that you get today are completely organic thoughts from my dog. Like, all of this is off the cuff, and he holding up the church finger. Go ahead. What's up?
My great-grandmother was a slave. I say that again. My great-grandmother was a slave, which means my grandmother was raised by a woman who, when she was born, she was property. Shaq is older than me. And I'm not sure how the generations of his family work. But because melanated families rarely have people die with a great deal of wealth, they don't quite understand how the estate tax works. But they take damn near 50% of your liquidated holdings. So after spending 400 years as property for the past 150 years, every time someone passed away, almost half of what they had generated in their lifetime was taken from their family before it was passed down. This I am wealthy, we not wealthy at 50 is some real childish shit that will lead to what he has generated and accumulated, meaning absolutely fucking nothing but a big ass number when he died. So it's a very business savvy reason why I don't look at shit like this beyond rainbows and unicorns. That shit fucking stupid. But I won't say it's wrong because it ain't my motherfucking money and it ain't my child. That shit's stupid though. And now I shut the fuck up. But I had to say that, bro, because I had been trying not to say it. And I was like, nah, that shit need to be said. Because there's people who don't understand the economics of it. And I sit here and talk about University of the South and studying economics and blah, 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 blah. He way too fucking smart to think like that. He Dr. O'Neill. He way too smart to think like that long term. And at this point in his life, at his size, and with what he chose to do with his life and the stress he put on his body, he should be thinking about how to protect his wealth through them being rich, not him being rich. That has to be how he's thinking post 50, cuz. Especially after losing Kobe. How fucking dare you say, you know what I'm saying? You lost Bean last year, cuz. Do you think that's a message he want to communicate to the little mama? You feel what I'm saying? No. Not at fucking all. He had his baby girl flying from Little League game to Little League game in a helicopter, like how he went from fucking home to LA games to avoid traffic. That's how he was thinking about shit. And I like, bruh, I'm sorry, but I toss it back to you, bro.
Nah, man. We you done done this to me 3 times in this one segment. Is you done passed it, and I went from doing the next thing, which is something completely different and something completely new, to doing, because you kept hitting me with different endings and giving me a different lane for a segue. So I'm gonna take the lead on this guy, and I'm gonna say I ain't even gonna segue. I'm just gonna move from one thing to the other, and I'm gonna talk about. Actually, I am gonna camel back off of that, man, because like you want your next generation to be wealthy. You want to light the path for the next generation, and so here it gives you some headlines. As you can see, like, increasingly, what we set out to do on this show is tell you the truth, man, and give you something from a different perspective, and bring you new and fresh ideas, bring you new and fresh things that hadn't already been put into your consciousness, like things that we find that we curate and that we want to share, that we think are worth sharing. And so, in doing that, one of the things that I wanted to do this week, because we didn't have a show meeting, and I think it works really well this way, is to share a new segment that I want to introduce to the show called Welcome to the Black Market. Now, how you say Shaq is doing things one way, and how you plan to move forward and do things one way, and you are a fan of LeVar Ball because of how he does things. And I'm not rich. I'm a product of what y'all are able to accomplish because of what I invested in you. And so Welcome to the Black Market is having to deal with Queen Elizabeth going and taking the and accepting, we'll call it accepting in this how she got to the Star of Africa, and how all these resources are being pulled away from its people. Haiti and France, we talked about that in colonization. We talked about the mother taken away from her child and treating him like things can be taken away from him, and that is an acceptable practice. We at GSH want to institute something where we are giving back to our people, and so it is going to be Welcome to the Black Market, because it seems like the more we learn about history, the more Black people have contributed to it. The more that we own of it, the more we talk about it. And so I placed that book up behind me that's there today, Where the Wild Things Are, and talking about how and what we've grown from as a people, where we have come from, and what we've been able to imagine, and what we've been able to step into as a reality as a people, and be able to put our thumb on it and say, this can't hurt me. And I want you to get into the perception of things not that they can't hurt you, or not that they don't affect you. But that little boy in that story, man, he wore that suit and he went to where the wild things are, and he told those beasts to hush. And they hushed because of how he perceived himself, man. So Welcome to the Black Market is everything of value in this world, I feel like, comes from our people. Every single bit of it. And so Welcome to the Black Market is us highlighting the market that we as Black people create in a space where we haven't been allowed to bear the fruits of what we do create. We only get a portion of it. And so I saw that one of my good friends, man, a close personal friend of the show, grew up in the Hope with me, man. His wife, and he's been pushing not his brand, man, but like people call it a lifestyle brand. And I don't want to water down that term, because like my family is solid. Like the people I keep around me, the people you hear me talk about, the people who I am in touch with, they are solid people, and they do things with purpose. They do things that benefit the community around them. They do things that work to evolve humanity as a people and as a race. and to move us forward, man. And so my dog, shout out to my dog KG at Cool Athletics, man. His wife is working with a young lady, Elizabeth Artis Candles, is the name of the company. And I'll share the link to their candles, man. And so I'm a big fan of candles because scent is the number one sense associated with memory. And I'm a huge fan of candles for that reason. And I'm a pyro, so I love fire. And so something that smells good and something that presents the visual to me of fire and something that lights up a room, something that lights a path, and me thinking about like the religion that I have and the religion that I'm cultivating, because I don't see my religion that I currently have as the religion that I will always be in. I see it as the foundation for something that I'm still working towards and I'm still striving towards every day. And so that's a part of like why the black market exists and why I wanted to bring something to the black market to share with the people, because it means something to me, man. So if you love candles, if you love things that smell good, if you love something that's done for a great cause, check out that link that I'm going to put into the show notes. You can catch that on YouTube. You can catch that on Deezer. You can catch that on Pandora. You can catch that on Spotify. You can catch that on Google Podcasts. You can catch that on Apple Podcasts. You can catch that everywhere you consume this platform, man. Elizabeth Artis Candles. Light up your life and make it smell good. Because nobody want to walk into no musty ass room, man. So I share that with you, man. And I'm going to pass this to my dog before we roll into the last segment of the evening. And I want to hear your thoughts on me welcoming something into the show that you haven't heard of yet. And you learning about it with the people.
Hey, man, I'm all for it and I support it, man. And as someone who identifies with you on the character traits that make candles something that you have an affinity for, I'll simply hit them with some bars that I had from matches as we talk about shorty candles. As I sit here staring at the flames, I see the beauty in destruction. What once was so powerful, reduced to only nothing. Where it once was so loud, no one could hear a sound. And if they could, I wonder if they'd even be around. Well, I guess you could say it's in the eye of the beholder. Most niggas who catch fire start giving the cold shoulder. Women who catch fire, the target of affection. We build them up to break them down. Circle of life inside that lesson. And all of them bars, it starts and then goes to the completion of consumption if you hear the progression of it. And I think that's some of the beauty of a candle, because the consumption of that wax creates so much peace, creates so much serenity, creates a beautiful aroma. It provides light and darkness. And candles have so many different utilities. And if utilized for everything they can bring to you, they add so much more value than just what you get on the surface from a sensory value that they provide to your life. So yeah, make sure you get that in the show notes, man, because we be everywhere you consume podcasts, and shorty candles need to be everywhere you consume life. FitX, Blitac, market. Yeah, I mean.
Appreciate you, man. I want to do one more thing for you before we get up out of here, man.
Could you tell me something good?
I damn sure will. So today's story took a hard left. I had a completely different story than the one I'm about to share with you now. I saw some beautiful shit, man. Like this, if you can tell, this show has a theme or has a schematic to it. And the past few segments, we've been talking about family. We've been talking about legacy you want to leave. We've been talking about parenting. We've been talking about, all these interactions that contribute to humanity, because ultimately that's what this show is about, is these conversations that we might have in whatever space that we might inhabit at the time, and how it contributes to us Like that's what they used to do when they were in Greece, man, is they would sit down. Like that's how people learned, is these men and women. I'm sure there were women. Like even though all these philosophers you hear about were men, because men were the ones who we ain't gonna get into that. We're gonna stay on topic. That is how things are learned. I just recently copped a new book by my dog Clint Smith, man. Shout out to the Jenkins and Jones show. They also have a book club. And the first book that they read in a book club was by Clint Smith, How the Word is Passed. And it was introduced to me by somebody who is in your consciousness, we'll call it. And as you make this transition, it's a person who you want to pass through your consciousness and maybe stop by and spend a little bit of time with you. And that was just a roundabout way of me saying some shit that's very inside with me and my dog. But yeah, man, like we've been talking about this and going through this stream of consciousness through this show, through this schematic that we built, man. And this Spike P joint and this Tell Me Something Good. Like I came into contact with somebody who's a very close personal friend of my own, and he told the story about taking his daughter trick-or-treating for the first time. And he talked about how in doing so, like this was something that he is doing for the first time himself. So this is a man who has a daughter who's taking his daughter to do something for the first time, and he himself is getting to share that experience with his daughter, and that's trick-or-treating, because he didn't grow up in an environment where it was safe for him to trick-or-treat. He didn't grow up in an environment where it was safe for him to go from door to door to the people who lived in his neighborhood and get candy and enjoy this holiday that people around the country get to enjoy. We love spooky season. We have a whole genre of movies dedicated to it. Like we do so many things that are surrounded this. So there's a whole world of commerce centered around this thing. And there's a young man who in his neighborhood, he didn't have a safe enough environment where he could do it. And when he became of age, it just became a time for him to go around and cause ruckus. But fast forward some years later, he has a daughter. And he gets to enjoy something for the first time as she's getting to enjoy something for the first time from two completely different perspectives, or maybe from the same perspective. How do we know? Because this is his first time going to enjoy trick-or-treating, that he don't feel like that child inside, even though he is the parent there. So maybe there's this duality, and I haven't asked him about it, and I haven't even told him that this was going to be the topic of the TSG today, man. But I saw him, his daughter, somebody who you know well, and their children being in this neighborhood, man, and it being filled with just joy, man. Like you look at the pictures and like, that's the thing that when you talk about like the connection that the internet gives you, man, like that, I think that's one of the really, really good things that comes out of this. Like, tell me something fucking good. Tell me about a fucking father going trick-or-treating for the first fucking time with his little girl. He for the first time, her for the first time. And they out there walking from fucking house to house. And he get to see the excitement on her face. And he get to see what he didn't grow up around, but with the environment that he's creating for his little fucking girl to grow up in. He's laying that fertile soil for his little girl. So he creates these traditions to where she feels rich. She feels loved. She's in a community of people who surround around her. Like you see him in front of the fire truck, smiling with kids from the neighborhood, races, creeds, religions. And so like, that's why we harp on these things, man, is because I go to a church, man, and I don't practice the same religion. I'll say I don't practice the same religion I grew up around. I grew up around a very stringent Christianity. And right now I still identify as a Christian, but my view of religion has changed tremendously. And I finally found a church home where I feel supported in being other than that traditional, or thinking that there's something more than the way we've always done things. And that's the way this church thinks, is like this is what we've been given. Let's see how we can improve upon this. And let's use this as an example. But a lot of the ways, even in this book, are antiquated. And we only come from this book when it gives us a lesson that moves humanity forward, and when it doesn't put humanity back into its past and let us fall into the lessons that put us in wars and things that don't contribute to our evolution. And the pastor was talking about like what you put your value in. And he came from Matthew. I want to say it was the first 12 verses of Matthew. I want to say it was Matthew 5. And he was talking about how one person or another has like all these gifts and all these talents, man, but it's what you do with them that makes them special, not the person who's blessed with something that everybody's paying attention to. Like some people have a talent to be a great fucking grandmother. That was one of his examples. He was like, we had something at the church on Saturday, and I sat back and I watched women being great grandmothers. And he's like, I just cried because that is a talent. That is a gift. Everybody don't have a great grandmother. Everybody don't have a great mom. Everybody don't have a great dad. Everybody don't have a great brother or a great aunt or a great uncle or a great cousin. Like, I can't tell you how much I look forward to spending time with my cousins when I was growing up. Like being in that environment where you support it, being in that environment where you love, being in that environment where you have this sense of a gang, because that's what a gang is. A gang is family. So don't let motherfuckers take words and claim them and turn them into something that they weren't meant to become. That's what this episode has been about, man. Bankhead bounce. Things that we create, we take back. That $400 million fucking diamond that's sitting around the Queen of England neck, we created that. We give that shit power and we can take that shit the fuck away. Because that's not the real fucking diamond. That is a very precious stone, 100 fucking %. But the real fucking cut up ass goddamn diamonds is those melanated people that was only able to grow there because of those melanated fucking people. The conditions that we help, like, I know it happened over hundreds and thousands of fucking years. Like, I know how that process works, the geology of it all. But they are walking, fire-breathing, wealthy, beautiful diamonds that people have tried to fucking bury for fucking ever. And they refuse to stay in the fucking ground. And whatever they fucking create, the world takes notice of it. She had to go put that thing, that she put the Star of Africa around her neck because she thought that's how she would get noticed if she had the Star of Africa. She don't know. She is unaware, bro, that you can't wear the Star of Africa. That's not something that's for sale. It's not something that you can fucking buy. All that status and shit, and you got to bring more attention to yourself with something that don't belong to you. And you still aren't a fraction of what that thing actually represents, because they still call it the Star of fucking Africa. So, and this tell me something good, man. I wanted this entire episode to lead to like this point where we understand how important it is to lay that groundwork for like the next generation. Everything that me and my G working for is to lay groundwork for the next fucking generation. We talk about the Meek Mills, the rivals become like, we call people to the motherfucking, like I started recording this episode even before it was supposed to start because I was being reprimanded rightfully so, for something that I didn't take accountability to do that I know I'm fucking responsible for. And I was like, I'm not going to not have this be documented, because so many motherfuckers, like, we came here to tell your ass the fucking truth. In preparing to do something for you, I fell short. Like I said, I didn't want to fucking be a vessel for those coaches and shit back in the fucking day. I should have went a whole lot harder, or as hard as I possibly could have for my brothers, because that was the reason why I was doing it. They should have been enough reason for me to go harder. Fuck the naysayers. You're not here for the fucking naysayers. You're not here for the mockers. You're not here for no fucking body else but the believers. My dog believes in me as a partner. I have to be a fucking partner. The generation that's not fucking here yet believes in you. They have to be able to believe in you. All these motherfuckers who pick up a microphone and start speaking into it, and that shit gains them attention, and they say, I'm not here to be no motherfucking role model. You may not be here for that shit, but that is a byproduct of you picking this shit up. And I don't take that for granted, which is why I haven't shared so much of the art that I've created over the years, is because I know once the fucking world hears it. My dog tell me every fucking day, nigga, you got something fucking special that nobody else has in this world. I know. So when people hear that shit, and I become the person that God has made me to be, the star of Africa that I'm supposed to fucking be, I wanted to lay the proper groundwork for the next generation, to where they're not going through these generational curses. We have the power to break this shit. My dog tell me all the fucking time, the thing that is the worst in the wrong hands is fucking power. Because it can be wielded to do ungodly fucking things. And we walk with God. And we have more power, more fucking power than we know what to fucking do with. But I know I'm going to do it to be a motherfucking light. Shout out to my dog. Shout out to his daughter. Shout out to his significant other, his queen, everybody in his community, to everybody over at Elizabeth Artis Candles, everybody associated, everybody that's associated with Gimme Some Headlines, everybody that's associated with Ray Shermer out there in Mississippi, everybody that's associated with MMG, everybody that's associated with every fucking label that's supposed to service artists, and be a beacon for them and be an example for them, be a mentor for them, to build the foundation for their next generation. If you out this motherfucker talking about you teach financial literacy, teach that shit and be a beacon for it in every aspect of your fucking life, because how you do anything is how you do fucking everything. And if you treat the people you are supposed to be a steward over like shit, which is why we talk about white stewards over black talent. If the Queen of England wants to wear the Star of Africa around her neck like it's something, like it's a fucking symbol, then we have to be the fucking people to say, we know how you got that. Let's play the fucking game how it's supposed to be played, because you were not born in the wrong generation. You were born at the right time. Things are happening at the right time. And that, in all of its glory, 2.5 minutes of it or 2.5 hours of it, something good, my nigga.
This your nigga C.O.D, the Cater Boy Music, aka Big Tabby with the closing bars. Success is getting what you want. Happiness is wanting what you have. And whatever you're going through, it's not the tough times, it's the tough people that last. So till the soil and bless the environment before you ever judge the success of the seed. And remember, that it is always better to give than it is to receive.